A common assumption in our society is that when somebody has a lot of nice material possessions, whether that's designer clothing, luxury cars, or big houses, they also have a lot of wealth. Many people think that these two things go hand in hand, and we see this idea portrayed everywhere. In movies, social media, in celebrity culture. And the problem with this idea is that everyday people who make average incomes start to believe that being rich means looking rich. And when people start to think this way, oftentimes what happens is they become burdened by debt, live paycheck to paycheck, and sacrifice their financial future. The truth is, if you pulled back the curtain on many people's financial lives, you'd discover that the people who look rich are often broke, and the people who look modest often have a lot of wealth. And when you understand how wealth works, it's so obvious why. And so in this video, I want to talk about how people attain wealth in life and talk about 7 of the reasons why the people who look rich just often end up broke. And the first reason is they have too many liabilities and too few assets. Wealth consists of a very simple equation. Wealth equals assets, which are things that make you money, like stocks, real estate, and retirement accounts, minus liabilities, which are things that cost you money, like cars, credit card debt, and mortgages. And when people try to look rich, oftentimes what they do is just load up on a bunch of liabilities. They get an expensive car with a high monthly payment, expensive clothes maxing out their credit card, and a large house with a high mortgage. And because they spent all their money on liabilities, they have no money left over to build wealth. No money to save, no money to invest, and no money to buy any assets. And when you pull back the curtain on many of these people who look rich, you discover that they have practically no assets, but tons of liabilities, giving them a negative net worth. People who try to look rich often end up broke because their liabilities eventually catch up to them. They can't afford the car payment anymore to keep up with their credit card, and they realize they shouldn't have gotten a mortgage so big. And they have no assets protecting them. When it comes to wealth, the truth is liabilities are loud, but assets are silent. And if you want to build real wealth in life, you have to focus on buying assets that build you up instead of liabilities that bring you down. Now, it's important to note that assets aren't just things that provide a financial return, but they're also things that provide value into your life. And one thing that's provided a lot of value in my life is getting a good night's sleep, which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, No Mattress. No is an award-winning mattress brand known for its cooling technologies, exceptional pressure relief, and long-lasting durability. When looking for a mattress, I wanted something that was comfortable and semi-firm, as I'm a side sleeper, and so I decided to go with the No Natural mattress, which I have been sleeping on for the past month. This has been the best option for me because its temperature control keeps me cool in the extremely hot Georgia summers, and the firmness level is perfect, so I fall asleep quicker and don't wake up with back pain. And getting a mattress can be a hassle, but No makes it very safe and easy by conveniently shipping it to your door for free. It comes rolled up in a box and is extremely easy to set up. And compared to other mattresses, No mattresses don't contain any fiberglass, which can be harmful to your health. And they also don't use harmful chemicals, so there isn't any off-gassing when setting up the mattress. And every mattress is designed, assembled, and shipped from their Arizona factory to ensure the highest quality. And they stand by all their products, offering a 120-day sleep trial period so you can have 3 months to make sure your mattress is a perfect fit. Plus, they offer a limited lifetime warranty. I've truly been enjoying my no-loll mattress, and if you're ready to upgrade your sleep, click on the link in my description or go to nolollmattress.com/AustinWilliams and use the code AustinWilliams at checkout to get an extra $50 off your no-loll mattress, and that discount is on top of any other discount that they're offering on site. So get it while you can, and thank you no-loll for sponsoring this video. The second reason looking rich keeps you broke is they overspend on things that portray value but aren't valuable. In addition to buying a bunch of liabilities, people who try to look rich often overspend on things that look valuable, but in reality aren't actually that valuable. And that is because they confuse perceived value for actual value. For example, a $2,000 Prada bag has that price tag not because it's an amazing investment, but because it's perceived as prestigious. When you have a Prada bag, you signal success, status, and wealth to others. And people who constantly spend all their money on things that are perceived as valuable often just end up with a collection of stuff that doesn't produce an income, depreciates in value, and often creates financial problems in their lives. When people try to signal to others that they are rich, they often go broke because they focus on the wrong things. They focus on seeking external validation instead of building internal stability. Real value isn't about how something looks, but it's about how it improves your life and builds you up. The third reason is their lifestyle becomes very fragile. So as we've been uncovering in this video, people who try to look rich often end up with a bunch of liabilities and things that have no actual value. And what happens when people do this is that over time, their life becomes very fragile. They take on so many financial obligations that make their expenses extremely high, and their life becomes a ticking time bomb where even the smallest setback could completely turn their lives upside down. When people try to look rich, they often go broke because their life becomes very fragile. They over-leverage themselves and have no margin for error. And when something bad happens, well, as they said in the early internet days,
he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
The truth is, real wealth is all about building a lifestyle that is secure, not fragile. It's about creating a life that is built around security, margin, and long-term stability, one that can handle setbacks, can adapt, and is resilient, which often looks very different than most people imagine. High expenses create fragility, whereas low expenses create freedom. The fourth reason is they focus too much on income. As people start to upgrade and seek more in life, they start to believe that the root of all their problems lies in their income. They start thinking to themselves, I just need to be making more money, and then start working harder to get promotions and raises, ignoring the fact that their lifestyle has gotten out of control. For many people in this world, income isn't the problem, but spending is, because wealth is built in the gap between what you earn and what you keep. For example, let's imagine two people, one who makes $100,000 a year and the other who makes $50,000. The $100,000 person spends it all trying to look rich, while the $50,000 person lives a modest lifestyle with some money left over to build wealth. Now ask yourself, who is more financially secure? Well, it's the lower income earner because they have more money left over to build wealth. The high income earner, on the other hand, has nothing to build wealth and is living paycheck to paycheck. People who try to look rich often go broke because they end up chasing income and ignoring their spending habits. But as Dave Ramsey once said, you can't earn your way out of a spending problem. No matter how much money you make, if you're spending it all, you're still going to be broke. And so if you want to get ahead, stop asking yourself, how can I make more? And start asking, how can I keep more? The fifth reason is their bar keeps moving. Trying to portray to others that you have money will eventually become this huge trap where you're never satisfied and you become a slave to your luxurious ways. And this is how it happens. At first, you're an ordinary person. Then you get a higher paying job and decide to get a new car. Next, you get a promotion and start buying nicer clothes. Then you move industries and get a bigger house. The bar keeps moving up and up and up. It never levels off where you're satisfied. And there are two problems that come with this. One, your expenses become harder to sustain. And two, you have trouble going back to what you had before. If you're always trying to look rich, you'll be on this never-ending climb of constantly seeking validation and never feeling satisfied. There's a quote that goes, "Contentment makes poor men rich, and discontent makes rich men poor." When you're constantly chasing more, rich becomes a moving target. And so it's important to establish what enough looks like in your life and stop there. Otherwise, you'll spend your whole life looking wealthy on the outside, but never truly feeling wealthy on the inside. The sixth reason is they surround themselves with like-minded spenders. One of the sneakiest traps of trying to look rich is that you often end up surrounding yourself with people who think the exact same as you when it comes to spending. People who normalize luxury spending, praise expensive purchases, and treat modesty like a failure. And when you're in that environment, it becomes nearly impossible to take a step back. If everyone around you is dining out, going on luxurious vacations, and constantly chasing the next big thing, you'll feel pressure to do the same, or even think it's completely normal. People who try to look rich often end up going broke because their environment supports this bad behavior. They get financial advice from broke friends, feel judged for frugal choices, and never hear the word enough. Real wealth is found in quiet, disciplined circles, where people talk about investing, saving, and living simply, not just spending. And if you want to build real wealth, you need to surround yourself with people who also want to build financial security. And the final reason is they don't play the long game. As we've uncovered in this video, people who try to look rich often obsess over the present moment. However, in the long term, they end up building no real wealth. And the truth is, looking rich is all about instant gratification, but being rich is all about delayed gratification. People who try to look rich often go broke because they trade long-term wealth for quick image, but real wealth takes time, patience, and discipline. And if you learn to play the long game, to save, invest, and live below your means, then the day will come where you don't have to fake being rich because you will have built actual wealth. And with that, muchas gracias. Que tengan un buen día. Nos vemos, chicos.